Hello, and thanks for joining us today. I'm super excited to be here. Today, we're talking about real estate. We're talking about funding real estate transactions and some of the best ways you've ever heard to be able to get that done. And with us to have this conversation is Toby Potter. Now, he's the founder of Global Integrity Finance and the go-to expert for real estate investors who want to build sustainable wealth without making costly mistakes. So he's actually known for transforming struggling investors into confident real estate tycoons. Toby actually offers strategic partnerships and financing solutions that traditional banks just don't offer, empowering his clients to thrive where others just simply fail. So, with over 7,000 investor success story, Toby's proven system consistently helps everyday investors become powerful wealth builders. Now, from humble beginnings as a dairy farm kid with just 600 bucks in his pocket, he rose to build a real estate empire only to lose it all in 2008 crash. You know me, I can relate to that. Okay,
Yes, yes.
refusing to be defeated, he rebuilt from the ground up and emerged stronger than ever, earning accolades such as Private Lender of the Year and coveted spot in the Inc. 5000 top 100 fastest growing companies list. So, unlike so-called gurus that are out there who sell hype, Toby actually delivers battle-tested strategies that work. He teaches investors on how to command capital instead of being controlled by it, building real, lasting wealth without relying on empty promises. So whether you are a new investor or ready to scale, well, you're going to love hearing from Toby because he's a trusted partner. You need to unlock that financial future. Toby, what's up, man? Thanks for joining us today.
Man, Ty, thank you so much for this opportunity. You are an amazing individual. Um, Dude, it's an honor and a privilege to be here, buddy. I greatly appreciate it.
Well,
Thank
I
you so much.
appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. So let me ask you this: like a lot of people try to break into real estate, and most that try fail. So what do you find there? Like when your investors are coming to you and they've had these failures, and you're helping them succeed, what do you find initially is causing some of their failures?
Capital. I mean, and to sum it up into one word, Ty, it's capital and not structured correctly in the beginning. And this is one of the things that we really strive on. And so when you follow Global Integrity Finance in our platform, there's a key statement that we say, and our job as a lender is to ensure your success and profitability. And because we're not just here to lend you money, but we're here to ensure you have success so that you can be a partner with us for a long term. It does us no good, Ty, to do a one and done deal with you. And if you come to us with a bad project, undercapitalized, under strategized, the wrong team, and you fail, so you may pay me back my money, but then you're done, and my cost of acquisition for clients goes through the roof. So we really, really try to break this down into more of a partnership, a strategic partner that says, "Hey, Ty, let's really look at this project. Let's look at the area that it's in, the neighborhood. Let's look at the house itself. Let's look at your scope of work, and let's look at the capital. Now, we're going to loan you money based upon a parameter, but as every investor knows, nothing goes according to plan. Nothing. I don't care if you've done 50 deals, 500 deals, or 5 deals. Nothing goes according to plan. Always something goes wrong. And one of the biggest things that we've all seen, Ty, is post-COVID cost of doing business, cost of labor, cost of material, lack of, so on and so forth. And our investors are really, really struggling for those larger marginal properties to ensure that success. So we really dive into that and try to make sure that this deal has a high probability of success. But 99% of our clients, even though we give them a purchase money amount and a rehab, we always fund 100% of the rehab. It's still not enough because that scope of work misses something. So let's just say you brought a property to us, Ty, that needed $70,000 worth of rehab. We fund 100% of that. And as you're going through it, you go, oh, crap. I didn't realize all the plumbing was corroded. It's a 1960s, 1950s building. The plumbing was cast iron. It's all corroded. I got to rip it off. Now, that's another $20,000. Where am I going to get that? They can't come back to us. We've already solidified the loan. We've already allocated that. They can't come back to us for another 20 grand. They got to go find it. And most of them now either go find another partner who's going to take equity out, or they start maxing out their credit cards. And so this is the one thing that we see really stifles the success in real estate investing.
What kind of investing do you help with? So let's talk, you just talk about rehab. So do you guys do a lot of financing then for fix and flips on single family homes?
Yeah, so that's 90% of our product line is a single family fix and flip. And it's several levels. So some of these houses are just old. You know, they're built in the 60s, they're built in the 70s. Grandma's lived in it forever. She's now passed away. That house is now put on the market and it needs to be brought back to life. It needs to be able to be remarketable. And so our clients will buy those properties at a discounted price. Let's just say, and you're familiar with the Texas area, so we'll use that. So you're looking for a property in Dallas, and you're able to buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, say 1,800, 2,000 square foot for $250,000. And that's an old house that's just, old, wore out, run down. But then they want to put $150,000 in rehab in it. So that's going to be all kind of revitalized. They're going to move some walls out. They're going to open up that floor plan, open up that kitchen, that living room, have it more of an entertaining, welcoming house. So we're moving walls out. Now we're putting new flooring, new countertops, new cabinetry, new bathrooms, and all that. And they're going to use that $150,000 and then put that back on the market for $500,000. That's a traditional fix and flip property that we finance.
So in a case like that, like you can cover 100% of the rehab cost, right? So what about the purchase? Like how does this work if I want to go and purchase the property initially and then have it rehabbed?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Ty. There's so many different levels of that. So based upon your experience, gives us the maximum leverage opportunity for you. So if you've done 10, 15, 20 deals since COVID, we're going to maximize your leverage on the loan. So we can go up to 90% of the total cost. And when we look at that, we're talking about the purchase price plus the rehab. So if you're looking at a $300,000 purchase plus rehab acquisition, we're going to give you up to 90% of that. So $270,000 is what's going to be allocated for the funding. And on that example, we would then pull out 100% of the rehab, set that aside into an escrow account, and then that difference is what you're bringing to the table. So, if you're buying a property for $200,000 and you're putting $100,000 in rehab, so it's a $300,000 acquisition, we're going to give you $270,000 of that. We're going to pull out 100 for the rehab. So that means we're giving you 170,000 of the 200 for the purchase. So you got to bring that $30,000 difference in down payment. That's your skin in the game.
Matter how I get it. Like,
Nope.
I can borrow against my stocks. I could use
Yes,
credit card. I mean, any way that I come up with the 30%, I could come up with another investor to help me invest it. You don't care as long as I'm coming in from my side with the 30%
that's
or the
correct.
10%.
With the 10%, that's correct. With the 30,000, that's correct. We don't care where that money comes from, as long as we don't get anything on the news that says you went and robbed a bank yesterday and that's where the money came from all of a sudden. So as long as it wasn't anything illegal, unethical, or immoral, we really don't care because we know that you have now allocated your part of this deal, and you're financially responsible to make sure this deal succeeds.
So how many properties can you help me with
So
at one
based
time?
upon yours, yeah, at one time, so a lot of that, so this is where we also look at, Ty, your reserve account. So let's just say on that example, you're doing a $300,000 cost purchase plus rehab. We've given you $270,000, so you got to bring 30 plus closing costs. But let's say you don't have any more money left in the bank, means you don't have carrying costs. So we have to look at your carrying costs also. We know that this project is probably going to take 6 to 9 months to get done and get on the market and get sold. So we offer you a 12-month interest-only loan to give you time. Now, you got carrying costs all the time. You've got mortgage payment. You got an interest-only mortgage payment. You've got utilities. You've got your insurance. You've got various things. So we need to make sure that you've got at least 6 to 9 months reserved in your bank account. And based upon that reserve account would allow us the ability of leverage to do more than just one deal. If you've got $500,000 in the bank, then yeah, we're going to let you do 3, 4, 5 deals at a time, as long as you have shown that you can do multiple projects at a time, meaning you've got good history. You flipped 8, 10, 12 deals in the last couple of years. Then we can get you out. If this is your third or fourth or fifth deal, we're only going to let you do one at a time.
Okay, so on the opposite end, I watch HGTV. So
HGTV made us so wealthy in 2018, 2019 when it rolled out. I used to sit on stage and say, hey, for all you networkers who've launched HGTV, Fix and Flip, Flipping Vegas, all this, what was it? The guys in Waco, I just went blank. I really just went blank on, but when you guys launched that, everybody thought they could flip a property.
yeah.
So here you are today in my seminar, wanting to learn how you're going to flip a property and get money. I love HGTV, love it. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
All right, so I watch HGTV, and now I think I could do a flip, but I don't have any experience to do it.
Yeah,
So, what's the world like for me? Like, what kind of LTVs and how's things change if I'm just a first-time investor?
that is a great question because this is what we started out with. That Global Integrity Finance is not going to just fund your deal, Ty. We're going to ensure success and profitability. And in order to do that, we have to now be a coach and a mentor and a guide for you. You don't know what you don't know. Yeah, you watch a 30-minute segment and you said, oh, shit, if they could do that in 30 minutes, there's no way I can't do it in 9 months. That was the mentality. But you don't know what you don't know. So a couple of things. One is you've got to get a partner. You've got to get somebody in there that knows what they're doing. Now, whether that is somebody that you met at a networking event or whether that is using us, Global Integrity Finance, because not only will we fund your deals, but we will also coach, mentor, and be a partner with you to get you that knowledge, to get you that experience, to get you that education, to ensure and guarantee success and profitability. So these are the things that we look at and that we would then say, hey, Ty, love that you watch the show. Let's talk about what you do know, who you know, why you think this property that you brought to us is a absolute gold mine. And let's see if we agree with you or if there's something that's missing there. But we're now going to coach you through the whole process. And you'd be amazed, Ty. How many people have said that right there? Maybe not in those exact words, but come to us like that. Well, Johnny Joe that I've worked for has flipped 10 deals. I was the guy that went through and, helped him out on it. So now I'm ready to do it myself. Well, you still don't know what you don't know. But we were then able to convince them that a partner is the only way they can do the deal. And they've come back and thanked us. Hey, I met Peter at that networking event that you hosted, and Peter and I partnered up on this deal, and now we're ready to go. And 9 months later, they flip out of that. They sold it. They made their money, and now they're rock stars. And that's what really builds the legacy that we really kind of run and gun with.
So, what kind of real estate investing training do you have then?
So we have multiple. So in the very beginning, Ty, when you bring us a deal, we're gonna go through this deal with you to ask you a multitude of questions to see exactly what you know about it. Why this property? Just because you found it on MLS or just because a wholesaler brought it to you doesn't make it a good deal. So I need to know from Ty why you think this is a good deal and how well you can articulate that. If you can't, then I know that you just bought the next thing that was available to you that you could afford. Now, let's just say you can articulate that you've done your homework, that you've done your research, and you've shared with me all that you know. And I'm like, well, kind of makes sense. My next question will be, all right, and let's talk about your contract. Who are you going to use to do this rehab work? How do you know this guy? And again, how well do you articulate? Well, Peter down here, he used him for 2 deals. He recommended him to me. That doesn't help me none. I don't know that you guys can get along. And what happens if you don't like his work or he doesn't like your micromanaging and he walks off the job? What's plan B? And when you can't answer my questions, then I say, okay, Ty, what we need to do is we need to step back, we need to reevaluate, and then we need to see how do we get you with the right people. And if it's global, then we're going to be that voice for you. As we're doing the draws, as we're doing the refinance, the paying out the draws on the rehab, we're going to be managing that scope of work at each stage, and we're going to be educating you along the way. And I'm not going to fly out to the job, and you and I are going to walk it the first 3 or 4 times, and I'm going to show you what I see, what I like, what I don't like. We're going to have your contractor there, and we're going to be showing him what I like and what I don't like. As the bank, and when I come in as the bank, everybody stops and listens. Now, if I came in as your partner, that contractor is going to be a horse's butt the whole time. But when I come in as the bank that's issuing the money, I get so much more respect, and so do you. And so we walk you through this process stage by stage, fully coaching, fully educating, fully training you real life skills so that you are learning this firsthand. That's the programs that we offer.
You charge for that kind of mentorship?
We don't charge a dime for it, Ty.
You should.
We should, and everybody tells me I should. You're absolutely correct. But
My
here's the
guests
deal.
are trying to wave me off right now. Like, shut up.
Wait, shut up, Ty. Shut up.
Shut up.
No,
I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, right? I
it
mean, like
is.
literally, you and I both know that people are charging 25 to 100K for the kind of education you're providing without the validity of having a lender partner involved like that. I mean, that's crazy.
That's why they charge it. They charge it because they know that whether you fail or succeed, they don't care. This is the one thing, and I really get fed up with gurus out there that are charging those 20, 30, 40, $50,000 coaching plans. They don't have any skin in the game. They're not putting their money up. Ty, you have to understand, I'm putting my money up on your project. It's not that I'm sending you somewhere else. This is my money that we're funding this deal. So it's more important for me to ensure you have success than it is to get a membership fee or a coaching fee. The coaching fee means you're going to come back to me the next 10 deals you do. The coaching fee is that we have a long-term, lifelong relationship that ensures that you continue to be a representative global. And guess what, Ty? Because you've had success, you just told all your buddies how you got into real estate investing and have moved. You quit your W-2 job. You're now a full-time real estate investor. You're flipping and fixing deals, and you're making $500,000 a year solely because Global Integrity Finance partnered with you, coached you, mentored you. That's my coaching fee.
Yeah. I mean, it's just living a life of service, and if you do that, it's why you've helped, geez, what, 7,000 plus people get into it. And I'm sure a
Right.
lot of them stay loyal to you because you do that for them.
It's 100% of what we do, who we are. And here's the deal. If you haven't picked up on it, the company name is Global Integrity Finance. Integrity is our middle name. And that's what it was built for. That's why it was founded and created. And that's where we came up with the name, is because we want to share with the world. I've been blessed by being able to be in real estate for over 30 years. I have a great life from it. And now it's time to help others have that same opportunity. I can't guarantee you'll have our success, but I can guarantee you the opportunity, the coaching, and the mentoring. And if you follow our guidelines, if you follow our rules and what we see, you will have a higher probability of success. You still got to do the work. I'm not going to do the work for you, but you are going to be able to understand what it takes to be successful and then grow and build it from there to your scalability.
Need an investor suggestions of where you typically see newbies find those, not investor, the partners. Do you any ideas of typically where people get that partner with experience when they come in and don't have it?
Yeah, so networking groups are the best thing. When we do webinars, when we do seminars and stuff like that, you need to be in those deals. If you go to meetup.com, and I'm not a paid sponsor for meetup.com, but if you go to meetup.com in your area and type in real estate investing or real estate networks, there are going to be 200 of those things pop up. Now, since COVID, they're all virtuals, where they used to be in person. But this is where you start interacting and meeting with other like-kind investors, and you start finding the one or two that's got some experience, that has the ability to get financing, and you hook up with them. Now, you're going to have to share profitability. But you know what? I would rather take 50% of a $100,000 profit than lose my ass, because I wanted it all. And that's what normally happens, is that Johnny didn't want to share his equity with Brian, who's been doing this forever. And Brian wanted 50% to be a coach. But Johnny said, no, I've watched HGTV. I've gone onto YouTube. I've watched. I know what I'm doing. I built the fence in my backyard. I know I know how to swing a hammer. I know where to buy material. And then he buys a house, He gets in debt for $400,000. He can't fix it right, and he thinks he does. And here's what happens. Here's what happens 97% of the time, Ty. You got the house finished. It looks great. You put it on the market. You get a buyer. And that buyer just hired a home inspector. And that home inspector's job 100% of the time is to find everything wrong in that house. And if he doesn't find things wrong, he's done a terrible job. And he's an expert. And he goes through and he finds so many things wrong. One of two things happens. Either you now got to spend another $20,000, $30,000 fixing all those things and hope that your buyer stays, or your buyer walks, and now you're back on the market. And guess what? And now you're fully aware of all the things that are wrong. So when you do that seller disclosure and don't disclose it and it's discovered, you'll get sued and lose everything you ever had. This is what happens more times than not. And it's because of capital. They get into the deal. They didn't budget correctly on their scope of work. They didn't have the money to do it right, so they cut corners, and it costs every time, Ty. It costs.
So what should I be doing before I come to you? Let's say I am newer in it. What kind of knowledge, where should I be going before I get to you? Like what should I be learning? Where should I be learning? Like what are your best recommendations of what I should do before I come to you with my first deal?
So what people need to do is they need to be what we call a limited partner. They need to get in with somebody, put some money into the deal, be a limited partner, and watch the gurus do the work. And then when I say guru, somebody who's done over 10 deals. Find somebody who's looking for some capital, that doesn't want to have to put the $30,000 down or all of his money, and say, hey, I would like to come in with you as a limited partner, a silent partner. I want to be on the LLC, and I want to watch and get educated. Because we love it when somebody comes and says, yeah, I've been a part of 10 deals as a limited partner, and now I want to do it myself. Well, you know what? Then when I start asking them questions, they're able to articulate what they already know, how they're relating it to this project. That gives me security that they did do it the right way. The other way people get into this is they start out, and we talk about the crawl, walk, run syndrome. That is, start in wholesaling. Go find out what properties are moving in what neighborhoods. And as you're wholesaling, you're able to find those good deals, move those and make $5, $10, $15, $20,000 per deal. But you're now understanding the market, you're understanding the demographics, you're understanding the neighborhoods. And then you can then do a deal, because now you wholesale, you partner, and then you step out on your own. Crawl, walk, run. But this is how we see the most successful people come through to us, what they've done in the past. And it's all about establishing, knowledge. And I tell every person, there's three things you have to have to be successful in real estate investing. And it's not one of three, it's not two of three, it's all three of three. One of them is you must have the right property. And 85% of an investor's time is spent trying to find the right property. And once you do, next thing you got to have capital. You got to have money, whether it's through Credit Suite, whether it's through partners, it doesn't matter. You have to have the capital. And then number three, you have to have knowledge. You have to know everything about everything in real estate investing. And sometimes that's through a mentorship. Sometimes that's through a partnership. Most of the time it evolves through life experiences. You've done 8, 10, 12, 15 deals. You now know all of the things that could go wrong, and you prepared for it. Once you've managed and mastered those three things, real estate investing is an absolute success.
You mentioned that 90% of what you do is fix and flip. What's the other 10%?
So 90% of our properties is single family,
Sorry.
fix and flips. Yeah. So the rest of it is multifamily, mixed use, and then we have an amazing long-term rental program, which is our DSCR program. And that's where Peter took the property, he rehabbed it, and now it's converted into rentals. Because with today's disruption in real estate, the higher interest rates, the high valuations, you're not getting the good margins of flipping out properties like you used to. But because there's such a demand, Ty, we got 6.5 million people looking for housing in the U.S. They can't find it. So we have a tremendous demand for housing. That converts to rentals. So most of our senior seasoned investors are buying properties, fixing up, and converting to rental. So we get two loans out of it. We get the fix and flip, and then once it's completed, they get it rented. We refinance them right into a DSCR or a long-term rental loan. So that's our basically our product line.
Yes, CR9 is a stated income product, right?
Well, it's not even stated. We don't even care. None of our clients, we don't care if they have a job. In fact, there's not even a place on the application for them to put whether they have a job or not. Everything is asset based, and we ask the simple question: will this perform? Will this property perform? Based upon the whether I'm going to buy it, fix it, and sell it, will it is it supported, or I'm going to buy it, fix it, and rent it, and will the rent cover the debt? If the market rent covers the debt, and you have a decent FICO score, then the loan's approved.
So you really do everything. I mean, if you come in, I've done some wholesaling. I find somebody to get involved with me as a partner. Then I find the right property, come to you, and then not only can you help me get like the financing I need to be able to do the fix and flip, but then you help me when the fix and flip is done to move to the long term financing as well. When I'm looking at a property, what should I be looking at before I bring you a deal? Like how do what would you love to tell somebody before they come to you that if you did these things, it's pretty much a slam dunk that we're going to want to do the deal? Like what research and due diligence should I be doing to bring you a solid deal?
So that it, it's amazing, Ty, that you ask all the right questions. That is the biggest deal. Is you need to be able to tell me why you think this deal works. Not why I think it works or fails, but you need to tell me why you think it works. Because here's the deal: we do this nationwide. And so you may be in a town or city that I'm not very familiar with. So I'm going to rely upon you to be the expert. So what you need to be doing before you bring us a deal is tell me why this deal works in your mind. And when you've done that research, well, Toby, look what I'm saying is we have a real estate growth of 6% year over year, meaning more and more people are buying houses in this neighborhood, 6% increase year over year. And here's what's going on in the outlying cities. We've got Google moving in, we've got Costco moving, we've got all this internal development going on. So this is where housing demand is going to increase. When I have those conversations, now I'm talking to an educated person that's not just there to flip a property, but they're there to create a generational wealth platform. And so what we want our clients to do is to know their stuff. It's the same thing that when you come to me and say, "Hey, Toby, I want to borrow money," you want me to make sure that I know what I'm doing, that I'm structuring a program for you that I can support. If I said, "Hey, Ty, here's your $300,000," and you go buy the property, and then tomorrow say, "Hey, Ty, guess what? We ran out of money. Sorry, we had some other things happen. I can't fund your rehab side of it," which, trust me, happens so many times. You'd be amazed at how many calls we get where somebody went with XYZ company and then they ran out of capital and couldn't fund the deal anymore, and now they're in trouble. But you would never want that from me. You would want me to know that I am an expert. What I do, I'm great at, and that I can support it. I need that same thing for my clients. Whether you're new or seasoned, you still have to be educated. And that's that third prong is knowledge. What knowledge you have. Even if it is, "Hey, Toby, that's my first deal, but my partner," and you give me his resume, and then we get him on the phone or her, and we get them on the phone, and we have a three-way conversation, and I understand that you know, or you all know what you're doing. That ensures the ability for success for all of us. A great partnership throughout.
I love it. Toby, a lot of people are watching this and they want to take a next step. They want to talk to you about, helping them get the money they need to be able to buy the property that they're already looking at or the next property they buy. What steps should they take right now to get in touch with you and your team?
So that's great. Ty, the first thing I want to do is say thank you so much, because I've watched you, I've seen what you've done, the people you've impacted, the lives you've changed. and Credit Suite and all that is remarkable. So first and foremost, in order to get to me, you got to go through Ty. I want you to like, share, subscribe to this, because what you're learning from this is going to grow somebody else's network. This is going to grow because you've influenced, they followed you. So like, share, subscribe. And then if you want more information, DM me at Toby Potter Official and put in their Credit Suite. Then I'll know you came through this platform, because this platform is what changes lives. Listening to Ty, all that he's done, what he's built over the last decade or so is remarkable. And this is where we partner up with people like this, because these movements move the needle in society.
I love it. Toby, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
You bet, Ty. It's an
All right.
honor.
So listen, if you're watching this, a couple things you want to do right now. First of all, check out globalintegrityinvestment.com. That's globalintegrityinvestment.com. If you go there, you're going to find a lot of things. There's even a resource tab where you're able to actually look at a lot of the resources. You're able to look at investments, amongst many other things. So it's going to give you a lot more insight about what they do. And remember, it's pretty simple. It's Global Integrity Investment. Integrity is their middle name, right? So make sure you check that out, globalintegrityinvestment.com. And then make sure you just reach out to Toby when the time comes. So that's at his handle, which is Toby Potter Official. And that's TOBYPOTTER Official. So I will go ahead and put that on the show resources page so you have it as well. But instead of waiting for the show resources page, just to make sure you do those two things right now, go to globalintegrityinvestment.com and make sure that you then reach out when you're ready directly to Toby at Toby Potter Official. So thank you very much for tuning in. Take care and have a great day.